guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Thursday, March 12th, and we'll look at the high time frame as well. And I also want to go over the 1 hour internal to external ranges today. I did record the stream that we had today, but I had some sound issues, so I'm just going to re-record this now. Let's begin. So starting off, we were looking at starting the day at 1800, right? We're looking at that New York AM manipulation swing. So we had our equal highs over here. This was our main high swing of the day. Fell within the high of the day time frame. So that's what these blue lines are here. So I have them on from 9:30 to 10:30. This is a nice window to look for a high of the day, low of the day pivot. Then draw that zone on. This is our main zone coming into Thursday. And this high is protected until it's not. So we can run with that for the day. We're using the standard deviations from here. We're looking at 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5 for our daily expansion. I've drawn on our 12-hour vertical lines here. I'm making them larger now. I want to use the 12-hour lines to help everybody identify where those main pivots are. So we're looking for those main 5-minute pivot swings, apexes, to then measure the expansion of the daily candle. We're trying to capture expansion of these 12-hour swings, basically. We want to get those pivots and catch that for 3 to 6 hours if we can. So as we opened at 1800, this expansion was finishing off the first swing from here, right? Expanding out to SD 1.5. We hit that. So quarter one's just sold off straight away. That's how I put in our high of the day as well. That's our high of the day window for Asia, right? 1800 to 1900. We have our redistribution, SBS. So 1, 2, 3 sweeps. We're looking for sweeps of 2 into OTE. So from here to here, we have our OTE on. We get a 0.79 sweep and continue down. We can then target 3 for continuation. And we go into our quarter 4 manipulation here, finishing off Asia, which becomes the low of that 12-hour. If we measure the break here from this manipulation swing, so this was our quarter 3 manipulation swing for Asia, come down just to SD1 there. It's pretty much spot on, I think, if we drag that across. Get rid of 1.5 there. All right. So we then have our Q4 zone here. We get our main break here with this displacement candle right on 1 a.m. for London. So we're into quarter 1 now of London. Got our break of the zone. We've got displacement. And then we come back in. We can do our OTE pull here. So we're measuring from the low to this high. Measuring from here to here. And we're looking for PD arrays within the zone. We have that BISI just here. I've already got that drawn on. Let me just type that in. BISI, our bullish fair value gap here. Come back in. We make a nice little swing failure pattern into that BISI. Just missing 6.2 there, but into midpoint, 0.5. Middle of the BISI, and we come back up. Remember when we get those swing failure pattern candles? So if we're looking at this as a range, we sweep, we close back in the range, then we can target that high. So that gives some nice confluence for push up to take this high here that made that low. And our next level is a standard deviation of 1.5 from this manipulation swing. And go into quarter 3, we get our continuation. Nice expansion there, up to 2.5 and back up to our PM low. It's something that I spoke about on stream. So when in strong bearish trends, we can look for PDL to be the resistance level. So you can start to look for shorts again around PDL. We do not want this to get flipped for support. Most of the time you'll find you will get high volume nodes. So this one from this swing, was here. We've got two. So this FRVP here was from the whole previous day swing. And if I copy that, this one down here was from this swing here, which is what we were drawing back up into. And also, if we mark out the rectangle box here from 3.5 to 4.5, this becomes our area for a reversal there. So very nice rejection here around PDL, and then we break down for New York AM. It's actually a little bit early, so I'm not in quarter 3 today. This was quarter 2 manipulation for New York AM. So we've come back up here, swept the high, and then we break down. This creates our New York AM zone. This becomes the zone until it's not. While we've broken that low, that high becomes protected and should hold. We then go into a bearish SBS here. So we have 1, 2, 3, looking for sweeps of 2. We have 4, and no fifth swing in this one. This just expands down straight away. We're looking to finish that fractal is taking the low of 3 there, which it's done straight away. And then we continue down to SD 1.5, 2.5. We got a reaction here for 2.5. A little redistribution here. And continue to finish that leg here, hitting 3.5 to finish that off. Then have another little 5-minute zone here, coming in at 11 o'clock. So the 11 o'clock hour has gone, if we look at the open here, open was across here. So open low, high close for 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock, we get that, this is OTE, back into this zone. If we draw that on, we go from the low here to the high of the swing, which was here. And let me just drag that across so we can see. So a 7-9 sweep then of this swing here. And then we push up to SD1. Plus we have our midnight open, true day open there. Swing failure pattern here. So one of the things I discussed on stream was that when we're in those bearish trends and you get your 5-minute zone break to come back against trend, we're normally looking for the reversals around 1 to 1.5. So if you are getting long down here, you want to be getting out at 1 or 1.5. You definitely want to be getting out after you see a swing failure pattern like this, right? So if we draw that on as a range, just do this quickly. And if we do it from here, we can include this one, right? Comes down, sweeps the previous low, previous hour, closes back in the range, and then we're targeting swing high and then range high. So we can even have this as this one, which was part of this lower range. So we sweep, close back in the range. We can then use the wick of this swing failure pattern candle, 50% of that. If we're getting candle closes above 50%, candle closes above 50% of the wick, will invalidate that swing failure pattern candle. So very nice respect there. And then we can target the low and then the range low as well, which we can see comes back nicely here. Down to SD4. Oops, didn't draw that very well. Finishing off the leg of the day. So the main expansion of the day was that New York AM swing. If we were to treat just this as a candle, we're looking at open high, we get our manipulation for the wick, low, and the close low coming in there. Very nice. So let's jump into our higher time frame. Oh, this was also around that 0.25 retracement, which I talk about. So the daily range OTE levels. So the fib of the daily range, 0.25 was here. Plus we had that POC as well. So when we're in bullish expansion, we're just looking for that shallow retrace to 0.25 of the daily range for continuation down, which we got very nicely there around that 0.25 area. Deep retracements will come back to the 6279. And something always to watch, when we break PDL so early, then you definitely have to watch previous day low for that resistance. We also see this with Asia, right? When you're coming down and you break Asia low, all of the time it'll come back up, retest Asia low, the same, and then continue down. When you get those Asia low flips. Yeah, very nice. Okay, let's jump into our high time frame. I'm going to do 6 hour and the monthly first. We'll just switch this 1 month and 6 hour. Right. So we've had our, so March opened here. This is our open. So we're back around the open now. Bit of a doji setup. So as we've opened for March, we've done this. We've created our March high. We've got this BPR. This is our line in the sand at the moment for selling. Staying bearish. Once that flips, then we're happy for it to be bearish and for this low to be locked in. We need to take this current high here to lock in this low. And if we take that low, then we're locking in this high for high of the month. So definitely worth having this BPR on your chart. Watch that. BPR meaning balanced price range, where we see those fair value gaps on both sides, bullish and bearish. This is a great pattern to learn and to take note on all time frames. Another one here, right? The 6 hour, we are still within the deviation here from the end of January. So we came down to 1.5. So 1 to 1.5, we had that redistribution. Next leg comes down into 2 to 2.5. That's our redistribution phase 2. We had been watching this swing here as the SPS, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And been waiting for forever for that low to get taken, which it did here in March. Is also worth noting all of these equal highs. At some stage when we flip bullish, they're going to be great targets to use. And yeah, so we hit 3.5. So at the moment we're trying to work out, are we going to continue down here, finish this leg from 3.5 to 4.5, take that low, put in this high for the month? Or is this low going to hold? And we pivot here somewhere and take these highs and lock in that low for the month. Whereas we're just around doji territory at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how the week finishes. Let's jump into the 1 hour chart. So 1 hour we're using to map with the weekly. So we have, let's just change this to the weekly. So far, looking at Monday, so open was here, sorry, Sunday. So far we have a Tuesday high of the week. So we've been watching this zone. We had 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. 3 waves, a great pattern to watch for those zone breaks, right? 1, 2, 3. This actually took a little while to break though. Wasn't until Wednesday. Once we broke that, we can then draw this on as a zone and a plausible high of the week, And we can add our standard deviation levels, looking for 1.5 to 2.5. Ideally, this becoming the high of the week and this the body of the week down to those levels. As we're doing that with that in line, we can then look to catch these expansion legs. So we had a nice redistribution here. We broke those lows to lock in that zone. We get our swing down 1, retracement 2, 3 breaks the low of 1, and then we're looking for retracement above 2 to look for shorts, that 4th swing. Also draw on our OTE from the high to the low of 3, and we look for PD arrays around there. So we have our SIBI in here, which price comes back up into, hit 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock there, and breaks down. Hit that for, and we're looking at the low of 3, becomes the end of that distribution swing, and then we can align that with SD1 1.5 here. Nice reaction now. We've got a 8 p.m. reversal occurring here. All right, so what I wanted to discuss today as well is the when we're going external to internal. So what's happened as we've broken this, we go into our external range, which means we've swept the lows, and then we're looking for a retracement back into internal range and then back to external again. So we can see we do external and we come back to that fair value gap in here. There we go. In, and then we can hit that external range, which is 3 there. So let's draw that out, which we did on stream today. So as we're moving up and we get our zone here, and then we break this low, we're going to external range. And then we're looking for retracements back to internal. Just like we talked about when we had our OTE lesson. We go to external from sweeping this, so that becomes our target from up here. Internal to external. What we normally see in here is then a fair value gap from this swing. So we are rebalancing fair value gaps as we go. And this then aligns with our OTE swings that we do. Let me just put that back to OTE. And same thing, we go from the high to the low. That's why we're always looking for those PD arrays or fair value gaps aligned with the OTE levels. What starts to make this a little bit more complicated is when we are getting those SBS swings. And what's happening with that is we're just getting an additional swing. So we get our breakdown is 1, we then get 2, and then we get a third leg, which breaks that first one, and then we come up to rebalance. Ideally like this. Same thing. So when you guys see myself or Soy does a lot in the chat as well, who'll say 5, what he is referring to is the count that we've got here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're targeting the low of 3 for 6. Same thing, once we break that low, that's our first swing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is all it's doing is going internal. So we're ignoring this. External to internal range into a fair value gap. External. We're measuring from here right down to 3. External to internal. And this is just happening in between. And that's where we want to get short and target the lows. And that's exactly what happened on the 1 hour chart here. Have our lows, external liquidity to internal liquidity. Fair value gap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 external. And possibly now we come back to internal, which is here. And this would be ideal for a Friday short. So we come back up to here. We've got our OTE levels, and then we continue down again to make a Friday low of the week. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to reviewing the week there. All right, guys, so I'll end the stream there. It's been a nice week. Come down on Sunday. Monday's all the way up to a Tuesday high of the week. Bit of consolidation here, and then we get our break. We come back, we retest the zone, and push down to SD1. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed this. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.